In a country as large and diverse as Nigeria, democracy is not just a system, it is a lifeline. And when that lifeline starts to fray under the weight of political defections, dominant party rhetoric, and weakened opposition, difficult questions must be asked. Are Nigerians safeguarding their future or silently surrendering it? This is Viewpoint, and I'm your host, Olaiton Baba today. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has publicly denied that his administration is working to establish a one-party state. In his Democracy Day address to the National Assembly, the president assured Nigerians that he would be the last person to support the idea of a single-party regime. He emphasized that multi-party democracy remains vital for Nigeria's future. But this statement comes against the backdrop of growing defection of opposition figures into the ruling All Progressive Congress. Governors, lawmakers, and influential party members from opposition parties, particularly the People's Democratic Party, have recently switched allegiances. While the president claims the defection are organic and not forced, the pattern raises question. Why are so many profile defection happening at once? Is this truly the natural rhythm of political alignment, or are there subtle pressures, incentives, and manipulation behind the scenes? A significant moment came when the APC National Chairman Abdullahi Ganduje was quoted as saying, "There is nothing wrong with Nigeria becoming a one-party state." This comment sent shockwaves through the political space as it contradicts the basic idea of democracy, where competition, dissent, and choice are fundamental. Such a suggestion, even if personal, weakens public trust and add weight to the suspicion that the ruling party is not only consolidating power, but potentially trying to sideline or suffocate opposition forces altogether. This fear is not unfounded. Nigeria has a long and turbulent political history. Nigeria has seen how military regimes suppressed opposition and how civilian administration have sometimes acted in a way that mirrors authoritarianism. The annulment of the June 12, 1993 election, widely regarded as the freest and fairest in Nigeria's history, marked a painful turning point in Nigeria's democratic story. That election showed the strength of Nigerian unity across ethnic and religious lines, as voters overwhelmingly supported MKO Abiola. But the subsequent annulment by General Babangida sparked protests and civil unrest, reinforcing just how fragile our democracy has always been. President Tinubu himself, a key figure in the pro-democracy movement of the 1990s, reminded lawmakers of this in his address. He positioned himself as a staunch defender of democratic freedoms and civil liberties, highlighting his role in resisting the People's Democratic Party dominance in the early 2000s. His personal story is compelling, no doubt. He stood as the lone governor from the opposition in the Southwest when others had fallen or defected. This historical context lends credibility to his claim that he would never support a one-party state. However, personal history does not override political reality. Currently, many Nigerians and political analysts believe that state institutions are being subtly used to weaken the opposition. Debo Ologunagba, the spokesperson of the PDP, accused the Tinubu administration of deploying compromised government agencies to harass and intimidate opposition politicians. Allegations like this are not new in Nigeria politics, but the current level of anxiety reflects a deeper issue. People are starting to feel like their voices and their votes are losing meaning. Let's step back for a moment and look beyond Nigeria. Countries like Zimbabwe, Russia, and even post-independence Tanzania provide examples of how multi-party democracies can slowly turn into de facto one-party system. In Zimbabwe, the ruling ZANU-PF has held on to power for decades through a mix of electoral manipulation, legal pressure on opposition groups, and control of public discourse. In Russia, while multiple parties exist on paper, genuine competition is almost non-existent. In Tanzania, the dominance of the Chama cha Mapinduzi party since independence has made it hard for alternative voices to gain ground, despite constitutional guarantees. Each of these countries started with a vision of democratic inclusivity, but gradually shifted towards control by a dominant party. Often, these shifts are justified with the promise of stability, national unity, or economic growth. But history teaches that when one party dominates without strong checks and balances, accountability suffers, corruption thrives, and citizens lose their ability to shape governance through the ballot. So what could be the implication if Nigeria were to drift towards a one-party structure, even unofficially? First, risk silencing alternative ideas and innovation that come from political competition. Democracy thrives on debate, on disagreement, on the clash of visions. If everyone begins to think and speak the same way politically, progress stalls. It would erode public confidence in the democratic process when citizens feel the election no longer matter because the outcome is predetermined. Voters' turnout declines and apathy grows. This is dangerous for any country, but especially for one as diverse as Nigeria. Media freedom would likely be threatened. A dominant party will feel emboldened to crack down on dissenting media voices, labeling them as enemies of the state. Civil society organizations, whistleblowers, and reform advocates would also face increased scrutiny or suppression. At Veegil, we believe that democracy is not just about voting, it's about active participation, accountability, and open spaces for debate. President Tinubu in his speech also acknowledged the importance of criticism, saying he welcomes even harsh words from his fiercest opponent. He reminded Nigerians that democracy demands tolerance even for insult and name-calling. This is a noble position, but it must be reflected in the actions of state institutions. Arresting journalists, targeting critics with legal actions, or intimidating opposition voices runs contrary to this spirit. On the economy, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said his government reforms are beginning to bear fruit. He cited a 3.4% GDP growth, increased foreign reserves, and improved balance of payments. But these economic gains cannot compensate for a shrinking democratic space. Prosperity without freedom is not progress. As Nigeria celebrates another Democracy Day, they must reflect not just on their journey, but on the direction they're heading. The June 12 election remains a powerful symbol. It reminds Nigeria that they are capable of rising above division to demand good governance. MKO's Abiola's legacy is not just about a lost election, it's about hope, unity, and the courage to speak truth to power. Honoring that legacy means more than changing the date on a calendar. It means protecting the integrity of democracy at all costs. As the president honored several pro-democracy activists with national award, it's worth noting that others who played key roles were omitted. Activists like Chief Michael Adekunle Ajasin, Anthony Enaoro, Ayo Okpadoku, and many others deserve recognition. Their sacrifices should not be forgotten. Inclusion and fairness matter not just in politics, but in how we remember our history. So what's the way forward? First, we need stronger political institutions. INEC must operate independently and transparently, ensuring that elections are free, fair, and credible. The judiciary must remain impartial, resisting political pressure. Political parties, especially the opposition, must rebuild, re-strategize, and reconnect with the people. Civil society must continue to advocate for reforms, while the media must remain bold and factual. The Nigerian people must resist apathy. It is not enough to complain on social media or in private circles. Democracy requires active citizenship. It demands that Nigerians vote, that they hold leaders accountable, and they defend the right of others to disagree with them. This is not a partisan call. This is a patriotic duty. And that brings us to the close of today's episode of Viewpoint. Are Nigerians allowing democracy to grow, or are they watching it shrink in silence? Are Nigerians building a future where multiple voices can thrive, or one where only the loudest dominate? At VG Media, our commitment is clear: to stand with truth, to amplify citizen voices, and to protect the democratic space where progress can flourish. Thank you for staying with us. I'm Olaitan Babatunde, and this has been Viewpoint. Until next time, stay informed and stay involved. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth political analysis only on Veegil.